All right, ready to dive deep. Today, it's all about The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
Oh, this was a classic.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's all about how to reach those big goals, but not by some overnight miracle, right? It's the power of small, consistent actions over time.
Exactly. Real success. It's built brick by brick, not through some big, splashy one-time thing.
Totally. And one of the first things Hardy tackles is this thing we all struggle with, I think, the instant gratification trap. You know,
Oh, yeah.
we want everything now. Lose weight fast, get rich quick, you name it.
It's like a cultural addiction almost, isn't it? That craving for instant results. But the thing is, it sets us up for failure.
Right. Because we try something, it doesn't work immediately, we give up.
Yeah, like you try some fad diet, it doesn't work in a week, and it's back to the old habit.
Exactly. But Hardy, he uses this really interesting example in the book, this guy named Scott.
Oh, Scott's story is perfect for this. It shows the compound effect in action. He lost, what was it, 33 pounds? And even got a promotion all over 31 months.
Wow, that's a pretty long time.
Yeah, but not by making some crazy change. Just consistent, small choices. Cutting back on calories a bit, adding in a walk here and there, even listening to motivational stuff on his commute.
Interesting. So it wasn't about intensity, more about consistency.
Exactly, and it worked.
Makes you think. Like all those little choices we make every day, they really add up.
They do. It's like you taking the stairs or the elevator, grabbing fast food or packing a healthy lunch. It all builds up.
That's such a good point.
Hardy actually uses this analogy about those choices being like the path to obesity or even bankruptcy.
Oh, wow.
It's not one cheeseburger that does it, right? It's all those little choices day after day.
Right, right. It shifts the focus, doesn't it, from these huge, overwhelming goals to something manageable.
Exactly.
So for someone listening, thinking about their own goals, what's one tiny choice they could make today that aligns with where they want to be later on?
Yeah, it really gets you thinking.
It does. And this is where, I guess, personal responsibility comes in. Hardy's big on that.
Absolutely. It's not about luck. It's about owning those choices we make each day. They shape our lives.
So we're not just hoping for the best. We're actively building our future, one choice at a time.
Exactly.
Which brings us to Big Mo. Big momentum. One of the coolest ideas in the book.
Oh, this is where it gets fun.
Right. So Big Mo is the idea that when we take consistent positive actions, we create this unstoppable force.
Like a snowball rolling downhill, just getting bigger and faster.
Perfect analogy. And to illustrate this, Hardy uses the example of Michael Phelps.
Of course, the Olympian.
Right. Phelps didn't just become a champion overnight. It was that daily dedication to his training, year after year.
Created that big mo, leading to, what was it, 8 Olympic gold medals?
It's incredible.
It shows that showing up consistently, even in small ways, it's way more powerful than like random bursts of effort. You don't run a marathon by sprinting once a week.
So true. So it's not about being superhuman, it's about those consistent habits. And the compound effect doesn't just talk about these principles, it actually gives you the tools to build a routine for success.
Yeah, it gets really practical.
Okay, I love that. What kind of stuff does Hardy recommend?
Well, he talks about creating realistic routines, not trying to change everything overnight.
Okay, yeah.
More like identifying small, sustainable changes. And he talks about getting rid of negative influences, too.
Like what specifically? I'm curious.
Things like too much news, constantly being bombarded with negativity. It can really drain you, distract you from your goals.
That's so interesting because we don't always realize how those little things impact us.
They do. And he also talks about surrounding yourself with the right people, supportive people who encourage you.
So it's about designing your environment for success, right?
Yeah, making those good choices easier, almost subconsciously.
So thinking about our listeners, what's one thing they could change in their routine today? Just one small thing to get them closer to their goals.
It could be anything, really. Adding a 15-minute walk, cutting back on social media, even just taking a few minutes each night to read something related to their field.
Right. Little things that add up over time.
Exactly. Remember, even the smallest actions compounded over time can lead to big results. Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about limits.
Oh, yeah. Those moments where you hit a wall and feel like you can't go any further.
The compound effect, it argues that pushing past those limits is essential to reaching that next level.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, Hardy makes this comparison to Arnold Schwarzenegger's cheating principle in weightlifting.
Interesting.
So, when you can't do another rep, you lean back a bit to engage other muscles. That lets you push past your limit.
So it's like a strategy to overcome that initial resistance.
Exactly. And by doing that, you build even more strength.
Makes sense.
And that applies to all areas of life. Every time we push past our comfort zone, those self-imposed limitations, we redefine what's possible.
That is empowering. It's a good reminder that often those limits, they're more mental than anything else.
Right.
But pushing past them, that's not always easy. It takes discipline.
Definitely. But the rewards, they can be incredible.
Absolutely.
Hardy actually shares a story about how he approaches giving speeches. He spends a ton of time researching the companies he's speaking to, going above and beyond.
And I bet that extra effort makes his speeches so much more impactful.
It does. It shows he's really committed.
And that, I think, is a testament to this whole idea of the compound effect, that putting in that extra effort consistently can lead to a level of success you wouldn't get otherwise.
It's the difference between meeting the minimum and really excelling.
That's such a great point. It's not about being perfect. It's about always striving to be better, to push yourself a little further each time.
And those efforts, they have a ripple effect. They can transform your whole life. So think about this. What's one small action, something you could commit to doing every day for the next month? Something that, even if it seems insignificant now, could have a big impact over time.
The key is choosing something you can stick with.
Yeah.
Something that moves you towards your goal, little by little.
Exactly. Because the compound effect, it's always working, whether we realize it or not. It's up to us to use it to our advantage.
That's a great way to put it. So as you go about your day-to-day, think about that. Don't underestimate the power of those small, consistent actions, because they can lead to extraordinary results.
It's those little things, repeated over and over. That's where the real magic of the compound effect is.
It's powerful, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that we have that much control over things.
It really is. It's not about some lucky break. It's about those choices we make every single day.
Totally. So let's do a quick recap of what we've learned so far from the compound effect, kind of like our key takeaways.
Sounds good. So first, got to ditch that whole instant gratification thing. Real success. It's about consistency. Those small actions, repeated day after day.
Yep. Makes sense.
Second, it's about owning those choices, even the ones that seem small. They all add up, shaping our lives.
That's personal responsibility. It's a big theme in the book.
It is. And third, we got to create that environment that helps us succeed. Surrounding ourselves with good people, limiting the negative stuff, and building those routines that make it easier to stick with those good choices.
It's like setting yourself up for success.
Exactly. And then finally, those limits we hit. We got to embrace them, use them as opportunities to push through, to grow.
So to put it all together, what's one tiny thing our listeners could commit to doing every day for the next month? Just one little thing that can make a big difference over time.
It could be anything, really. Something for their health, their career, their relationships.
As long as it's aligned with their goals.
Exactly. Write it down, put it somewhere you'll see it every day. And make that commitment to yourself to do it. Then see what happens.
I love that. Watch those small actions compound and see the changes they bring.
Because remember, the compound effect, it's always there, working in the background. It's up to us to make it work for us.
So true. So, for everyone listening today, as you go about your day, keep this in mind. Don't underestimate the power of those small, consistent actions. They can lead to incredible results. What was that quote? Something like, what you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while.
Something like that. Yeah, this deep dive into the compound effect has been great. It's a good reminder that success isn't some big overnight thing. It's those daily choices, those habits we build.
And that's actually pretty empowering.
Right, because it means we have more control than we think.
Exactly. It's not about luck. It's about taking charge, making those choices that'll get us where we want to go. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. The compound effect, it's full of good stuff. It's a book I'll definitely be coming back to.
Yeah, it's one of those books that can really change how you think about success.
And for everyone listening, I hope this has given you some ideas, some things to think about. Those little changes you can make that, over time, can have a big impact.
Remember that compound effect, it's always at work. So choose wisely, be consistent, and see where those small steps take you.
Love it. Until next time, keep diving deep.